Hey guys, so I figured out with help from Devin in fourth period, I figured out question number 34 that was on the monetary policy and fiscal policy exam. It is actually really easy and I feel really dumb for not working the problem out. I was too busy with how do I get to the answer, which is the answer was 5, and not really reading the question. I was too busy focusing on the answer choices. And not really reading the question and doing the work. So the question is, if the reserve required ratio is 25% and a commercial bank has $2 million in cash, $1 million in government securities, $3 million on the deposit of Federal Reserve Bank, and $6 million in demand deposits, its total reserves are. So I knew there was a number in this that is completely not needed, and that is the $1 million in government securities. It's not required. It's not needed. The key here is that there are 6 million. I need a pen. I need to put that back. Let me grab this, put it back, and get a pen. Okay, so there is 6 million in demand deposits. And that, put what you know down. Yes, you could have put the government securities in there as well. It's not important. But it does say that we have 6 million in deposits and 25% is in the required reserves. Well, 25% of 6 is 1.5. So of the 6 million, 1.5 is going to be in hello, where am I? I can't see where my pen is, so I have no idea where I'm writing. 1.5 in required reserves. And then in excess reserves, it says 2 million. In cash, notice how it says $2 million in cash. They don't just say 2 million in excess reserves. They may specifically calling it not excess. Yes, it is in excess reserves, but that's not the only thing in excess reserves. Because if there's $6 million in deposits, 1.5, 25%, 1.5 million of it is going to be required. The other amount of 4.5 is going to be in excess reserves. So 2 million is already in excess reserves. And there's an additional 4.5, because that 4.5 plus 1.5 is going to be your total of $6 million deposited. Okay, so it looks like right now, total reserves is 4.5 plus 1.5 is 6 plus 2. But then, for a total of yes, there's $1 million in securities, but we're just looking at reserves and not what's in securities. So in reserves right now, we have the 6.5 plus 1.5, which is 8 million in required. And that's why 8 million is the answer choice. But notice how it says the bank has 3 million on deposit in the Federal Reserve Bank. Well, how did they deposit money to the reserves? Oh, they took excess reserves and they deposited some of it. They have way too much in excess reserves, so they deposited some of it into the Federal Reserve. And so they get rid of 3 million. So that 8 million that they have in excess reserves, they dump minus 3 million of that and put that in the Federal Reserve Bank, which leaves $5 million left. So that is how you work that out. I will try to explain it one more time. So if you got it, you understood, you can you'd be done watching this. If you don't have it, I am going to just do it maybe one more time to explain it. Okay. If you didn't get that. Okay, so there's $6 million deposited, 1.5 of it in required reserves, leaving 4.5 of it left. Well, then 3 million of that is deposited into the Fed. 3 million is gone, leaving 1.5 left. 1.5 left. So we have 1.5 plus 1.5. Oh, that's 3, by the way. 3 for a total of 3. Oh, and they also have $2 million. Oh, $2 million. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So they have 3 left over after they deposited money from the Fed, and they had $2 million already in the bank there from previous things. So 3 that they have from that 6 million, and 2 that they had already there. So that is another way to look at it. It's the same math. I just said it in a different order, but the answer is 5 either way. I just feel so silly that I didn't work out. I figured out, yes, 1.5 is going to be required, but I didn't even think about the extra amount of money of that 6 million that needed to also be accounted for. We said what was required, but we didn't say what was in excess, and the and $3 million is then taken out to deposit in the Federal Reserve. So leaving 5 million of total reserves left. So I knew I was not thinking clearly this morning, and I knew it was simple, and one of those numbers was the trick one, and it was the $1 million in securities. That wasn't important. But the point of this is you have to work out the rest of where that $6 million goes to. Yes, a lot of people, I saw them scribbling down like 1.5. They figured out 25%. But what happened to the rest? You didn't account for the rest of that. And neither did I this morning. So that's how you work out question number 34. Hopefully that helps.